If you love this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to give me a thumbs up and go ahead and comment below any questions that you might have about what I'm about to share with you today. But I'm excited for you to be here. Let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, Megan. Well, first of all, thank you for joining the Do Good Legacy podcast. You are our very first guest on the show.
I am so honored. When you told me that, I was like, wait, are you sure? Thank you.
So I am so excited to have you here. Yeah. As I mentioned to you off camera, I have stalked the shit out of you.
Same.
These are the rules, and we'll dive into, you can say whatever you want. Feel free to curse if you feel like it, whatever. This is free range. I want this to feel like we are sitting on the couch, like people are literally like watching us.
I love it.
We are the main characters.
Yes, I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
Megan, please, if somebody were just jumping on and they were like, who the hell is Megan? What does she do?
Yeah.
Tell everybody what you do. And then we're going to go ahead and dive in because I have so many juicy questions for you.
I know. I love that question. Like, what do you do? It's so funny because it's a very simple question. Yet I think when people get asked, they're like, I do so much. And actually I help people figure out how to say their answer to that, which is kind of inception-y. So really which is like my bio right now and kind of cheesy, but I love it. So I love that question. And ironically, I help people answer that with confidence, but I really, really help coaches specifically, but service providers as well, become the coach, the service provider that people are lining up to work with, specifically with a brand that is unique to them. And I call it finding their distinctive edge. So especially in this 2025 market, what is unique about you and how do you market that in a way that resonates with your audience and makes them actually buy, not just like you, but actually purchase. I've been in business for so many years and I've had many iterations of that, but this year's been a very much coming home to that's what I'm really good at. It's like helping bring that special sauce out of you and like put it on social media.
I love that. I love that so much. And I love how you express that you've been here for a while. Can you tell everybody exactly how long you've been in this industry?
Yeah, I feel like a grandma, honestly. I've been here for so long. I started, I was like, I feel like you're grandma with me for sure. I started my first business in 2012 in network marketing with Beachbody, which is no longer a network marketing company. So I got out of there way earlier.
Really? They went out of business?
They're now doing just affiliate marketing. So they got rid of their network. Yeah, which was huge, a really big shock to a lot of people. I'm like, I saw the writing on the wall a long time ago, guys, but it sucks. Like, I feel so bad for some of those people.
We won't get into that.
But I was like, goodbye. Yeah. But I got my start there and it was great. Like I loved it. And that was like 2012 to 2017, built that up to multiple six figures. And the great thing about network marketing is you get to learn basically for free. Like I learned so much.
Okay. Can I just say, I am not a fan of network marketing. Mm-hmm. However, I am because of that. The women that I have worked with that come from network marketing and have worked with Amway, K, Beachbody, all of them, the amount of expertise that they have in sales, communication, marketing, I think is the key to what that. And then the thing is that I've then seen these women catapult their next businesses on a whole level because they know so much more and the skill, like what you get from that. And I had a client once who said to me, oh, there's like a portal where you can like watch lessons and all these. And I'm like, a portal? Yeah. What do you mean like a portal? Like an online course? And I'm like, what do you know?
Yeah.
These guys have been doing it from the beginning.
It's such good training. And I think people, if you're like a true entrepreneur, and I say that not to be rude, but so many people start network marketing because they think it's going to be a quick, rich scheme. And then they're like, oh yeah, you actually have to work.
Yeah.
That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who are like, I know this can work. I'm a business owner. Like I'm just a natural born entrepreneur. I want to make this work. Yeah. It's such a good incubator, if you will, for your business. And so that's what it really was for me. I learned sales. I learned relationship building, team building. I became like a leader, honestly. I really did. And so that then when like you were saying, when I started my own business, it just took off because I had so much of that foundation. And I even joined a program in 2017 that taught you a lot about business. And I was like, I could teach this program as I was in it. I was like, wait, I could add so much to this, but I got so much value out of it. It was great. Quickly got hired to actually coach in it because she's like, okay, you know a lot of this. You're like thriving in here. And I was like, yeah, I've been in business for 5 years. I mean, that's like not nothing, Yeah. And I started to co-coach and then quickly started my own business coaching outside of that, kind of like built this 6-figure business behind the scenes doing that. and then fully started to business coach in 2018, hit our first million in under 2 years. And then the COVID boom and all of that jazz. And it's just been a wild ride ever since, but it's had a lot of pivots, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of twists and turns. But yeah, that's like kind of how I got started, was network marketing and then my own business.
I love that. It makes sense. Like watching you. Okay. So guys, those of you listening, Megan and I have known each other since, I think it was 2007. It was when you were in Sabrina's mastermind. That's when
I think that was 2019 to 2020. Yeah. I joined that in 2019.
Yeah. And I think I started following you in 2019. Yeah. It was around Sabrina's mastermind. So we've known each other for a really long time.
I know. And we kept trying to meet up in New York. Damn it.
But I feel like, okay, I can't believe that that's not true, because I feel like when we do meet, it's just going to be like, the cartoons that like run and it's like love in the hearts.
Yes. 100%. You're definitely one of those. It's like the online world's so wild when you get to know someone so much, and then you meet in person. You're like, wait, we haven't met. I have that with clients all the time. When I meet them, I'm like, wait, what? We haven't met? Like, I'm telling you stuff.
Relationship, because I have her number. Like we can text. You know what I mean? This
it's so weird. It's such a strange thing. But that's why, it's beautiful. I can't wait for that moment.
I love it. And then, okay, so we are grandfathers. Like I've been in this industry, in the online space, for 10 years as well. And I've seen it grow in so many ways. And I really want to talk to you. And we've had this conversation offline. The industry has changed, but people make this such a big deal. Like, holy shit, the industry has changed. First of all, it's never going to go back.
No.
Like that's the wild, wild west. And like when you got on the train, that's like the internet. When the internet first came out, if you jumped on that Apple stock, if you jumped on that Microsoft stock, when Microsoft built the gateway computers, you remember the gateway computers?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Do you remember AOL?
Yes. I loved it. I had AOL. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like when somebody would pick up the phone and be like, I'm on the
internet. Have you ever seen the TV show Pen 15?
No.
Oh my gosh. You have to watch it. It's on Hulu. And it's basically about that time period. It's about like dial-up internet, and the girls playing the characters are actually like our age, but they're playing like 12 and 13. It's hysterical. It's so good. You have to watch it.
What is it called?
Pen. Yeah. PEN 15.
Okay. We are going to check this out. I honestly love my childhood for that. Like when I think back to the internet age, like when it all started, I remember like sneaking in the middle of the night to go on AIM or like on AOL. Talk to like my little boyfriend. My gosh.
I love it. Same.
Right? And like our kids will never have that. They come out of the womb and they just have the fucking iPads.
I'm so grateful. I think we're the last generation that didn't have the internet. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that, because we like span both. We know what life was like without it, but we obviously know what it's like with it.
And it was right in the transition. Like I remember still being able to go outside and play. And then go downstairs and go on the computer. Like I was still very much watching the Disney Channel at 15 and then like playing outside and also like trying to like have my AIM time on the computer. But I say all of this to say, as my squirrel brain, the industry has changed significantly, right? The days of getting on stories and just being like, I have an offer, and like people blowing up your DMs is like really over. Yeah. And it's natural. Like if you look at the evolution of the market and the products and the way industries work, like it makes sense, right? The people that basically aren't very good at what they do are no longer going to be around. Yeah. And the people that are willing to like figure it out and learn and pivot and innovate will continue to ride the wave. What are your thoughts?
Oh my gosh, so many thoughts on this. I feel like I just did I had a workshop last week as we're recording this, and I talked so much about this because in 2020, there was that big boom. So many people came online because they had to, which was great. And it opened up a lot of opportunity, and the coaching industry just boomed. And so many people started that, just to be blunt, really had no business starting their business.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like they wanted to make quick money, or they weren't really great at what they were doing and they just saw an opportunity. And so they realized, okay, I'm not giving the service that I need to, the quality of service, and it's obvious. And they quit, or they got found out, or they just realized this is hard. This is way harder than I wanted it to be. I thought online business was easy. I'm out. And so then in 2022, it was like that dip in a sense, but there still was the growing amount of people coming. Like it's obviously there's so many people online now. And it got to the point where buyers were really savvy. Like now in 2025, people have been burned We've all been burned with investments. We're not going to fall prey to like a lot of these FOMO tactics. Like there's just the buyers, they're buying, but they're very savvy and they're really careful and they're buying like the human now. We're kind of going back. I was talking to one of my best friends about this recently. We're kind of going back to 2019.
Yes.
Like, relationships.
I feel like it's more intimate.
Yes. Way more intimate. One-on-one touch, whether it's in your offer or just in the amount of Loom videos I have recorded in the last week during my launch to like help people make this decision. I never did that. I never needed to do that. They were just like, buy a $3,000 program. Nope, no big deal. Not even thinking. Now I have to put a little bit more work in and that's okay. And I think like people have to get off their high horse, to be quite honest. I see people like complaining. I'm like, you got to grind a little. It's okay. It's a big investment for someone. So it's changed a lot.
I'm jumping out of my seat if you're watching this video because I'm just like, yes. And I think that is the difference between the people before COVID and the people after COVID.
Yes.
A huge difference. Because 2019, when I was selling my courses, I was on fire in 2019. That was when I was very much pivoting from travel blogger to being a coach. And I was launching a bunch of different programs. And I was sending Loom videos. There was another program, though. It wasn't Loom. I forgot what it was called. But I was totally sending videos when I sent messages or I pitched to 101 or whatever. And I went back to that in 23, 24, because I very much had to get off the high horse. And I was like, you know what? This is business. Yeah. Like, it is what it is. You got to, and if you choose to continue, right? Because for me personally in 2023, I was very much at a crossroads. Like I was like, okay, this isn't working as well as I wanted to anymore. Mm-hmm. What do I need to do? How do I need to pivot? What does that look like? And I had to have what I call my come to Jesus moment. And I know you had a very similar situation. Yeah. Please share with us. I am so personally invested in this story because when's your birthday, by the way? Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow. I know. I'll be 38.
Get out. First of all, you look like you're 30.
Oh my God, I love you. I'll take it all day.
Be honest. It's like no Botox because that face is like.
I have not done Botox yet. I want to.
I want to too.
But I know once I start, I'm not going to stop. So I'm like, maybe once I'm 40, I'll start. I've had friends. They're like, oh my God, I've been doing it since I've been like my late 20s. Why haven't you started yet?
Yeah, I know. Me too. I literally had a friend who did it on her forehead when she was like 25. And I remember being at dinner with her and she's like, you see the wrinkles that you have? I was like, these? And she's like, yeah, you see, I don't have that. I was like, oh and I remember I went home that day and I was staring at myself in the mirror for like
I didn't even notice my wrinkles. Yeah.
I know. And I was like, whatever.
Aging gracefully.
Right. I'm about it though. Although I will say this, the day that I do get Botox, it'll be for this chin of mine. Like I want the line. Like I want the
Yeah.
The only thing. Whatever.
I love it. I know what you're saying.
This little turkey thing here.
Oh my gosh, you're beautiful.
It is so funny because when I take pictures and I see it on stages, I see it and people are like, you don't see that. And I'm like, of course you don't see that, but I see that.
Yeah, it's such a personal thing. For sure. Is. Whatever makes you feel good.
You look great. I'm excited for you. Happy birthday. But you're 38.
Yes, 38, which is wild. I'm closer to 40 than like 25, which is
okay. Weird. I just turned 36 and I'm like, oh my God, I'm only 4 years away from 40.
Yeah, it's wild. You know, it's so crazy though. It's like, I think back in the day, I used to be, when I was younger, I felt like 30 was old, you know?
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like I am getting into my prime. Like, I just feel like it's getting better and better, honestly. Because you just stop giving a shit. You don't care. And when I was in like masterminds back in 2019 and 2020, I was actually like 5, 6, 7 years older than a lot of the women in them. So I was like 33 or so, and they were all in their mid 20s. I just remember some of the stuff that people would like stress about or talk about or gossip about. I'm like, guys, you're going to get over this. You're just too young. And I realized like I had such an advantage because I was a little bit older than them in the sense that I just didn't give a shit. I'm like, you just don't care.
Yeah. When you get older. 100%. Yeah. But I think that it's important to highlight like being a woman in business, right? Mm-hmm. Running your own business, also being a mother of you are a mother. I'm not a mother. I'm a TT of 4 nieces and nephew that I'm very close to. But that's a whole other ballgame because I like play with them and then I give them back to mom and dad. And then I was
super aunt for so long and I loved being an aunt. Oh my God.
I love it. It's the best job in the world. And then I walk away and I'm like, do I really want kids?
You're like, okay, it's exhausting. I remember being so exhausted watching my nephews and being like, how am I ever going to be a mom? And I feel like I was more tired then because I wasn't mentally prepared.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us, you have 2 beautiful boys. They're so fucking cute.
They are.
Guys, if you don't follow Megan, you need to go follow her because when she posts stories of her boys, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I listen to what you say because you're very smart and like, you know, but most of the time I'm just looking and I'm like, where are those boys? And I don't know how you work because I would just be like on a coaching call with the boy or like chewing on a thigh because they're like so chubby and cute.
I know.
Yeah. So tell us, when you found out you were pregnant, what was the reaction?
That was my, like, your version of 2023, this was in 2023 also. So it was very, I think that was just a year. That was a very much like pivotal. You're either going to pivot or figure this shit out or you're quitting. And that's what I noticed. A lot of people left the industry. I had a couple of clients who made like probably over $1 million in their business, but like 500,000 a year kind of business, like huge business. And they quit.
Yeah.
And it's just, it got so hard to the point where you're like, you just question yourself. You're like, what's wrong with me? What am I doing? Like, I'm no longer relevant and all this stuff. So I definitely had that in 2023, but I had it more so in the sense that life blew up for me in 2023 in great ways and in like really crappy ways. So within literally 10 days, or within, I should say, like 3 weeks, I found out I was pregnant. My dad died. And then I found out I was pregnant with twins. So boom, boom, boom. Talk about high, low, high, you know.
Wow.
It's so intense. And I think at that time, I was just like, my nervous system was so shot that I was like, I cannot market anymore. I need help. And so I hired a marketing team. They're wonderful. But I didn't have what now I teach. I didn't have that on lock because I had lost myself in 2023. I was so scrambling to figure out this new market that I got away from what made me really special. And I just said and marketed what I thought people wanted. Right. And I lost me. Like, I just was like, okay, talk to the ideal client. Just say you're this expert and that expert, because I was, but it wasn't like my thing, you know? Yeah. And I became this generic, basic business coach. Like, I hate thinking back. I'm like, you're not basic and you were so basic. Like, the reason people hired me, I lost it for sure in 2023. So when I hired this company, freaking out going, I'm going to have twins. I'm grieving. I don't have the space. I just need to outsource this. I need to work on funnels. I need to be passive. I outsourced all my power and I didn't have my, what I call my distinctive edge, but my thing on lock. So it didn't work. It didn't work. I spent so much money on this company. They were wonderful. Their content was great, but it was missing me. It was really, really missing me. And so by the end of the year, I had a couple launches. They did fine, but it didn't bring in the cash injection we were hoping to save for, you know, being off for however many months. Now, we were lucky that the years past set us up. So we were more than fine. And I know not everyone going into this scenario can say that. So I am very grateful for that. But it took such a hit to my ego. My ego was very bruised. I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? I identified as this very successful entrepreneur. And all of a sudden I was like, this shit's not working. What the hell? And then my boys were born, and that's a whole other rodeo. So I can go down that path if you want.
No, I definitely want to hear it, but I want to say to you, okay, are you into astrology, Megan?
I am. I'm not like hardcore into it, but I want to be.
Well, I am hardcore into it. Like, this is like, any of my clients know this, that I like nerd out on astrology. Like, I have books on it. Like, I can actually read charts and shit. Oh, yes, it's like my little hidden, it's like my little hidden, like, I love this. Yeah, that's a whole other podcast, which is coming. But I don't know if you know this, but it is June 13th. And Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion, growth, abundance, has moved into Cancer. And you're a Cancer sun. Do you know your moon and your rising? Your big three?
No, I should.
Okay, after this, you're going to send me like the time that you were born and the location that you were born in. And then I'm going to tell you. But anyways, you fall in Cancer. You fall in that category. Girl, big shit's coming for you.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Good big shit. Okay, cool.
I'm a Cancer rising. That's why we totally vibe. But like, I'm a Cancer rising.
I love it.
And big stuff is coming. For anybody that's in Cancer, has anything in Cancer, like you have to look at where it is in your house, the expansion and the growth that you will have in the future, especially in the next 13 months, because it's going to be in Jupiter from now until June of 2026. Is huge. Wow.
Okay, yay.
Like, we are so potent and so powerful. So anything that you want to happen, I know that you're manifesting some stages.
Yes. I was like, wait, so much I want to happen. This is so exciting.
What you wish for. But yeah, you're ready for it. So that's exciting.
Okay.
So you find out you're pregnant. I'm like trying to put myself in that moment. Did you guys plan this? Did you and Mike plan this?
Yeah, we had a journey, like I'll share like the Cliff Notes version of it, but we had quite a journey to get there. I actually created a separate account sharing that journey, and that account like blew up, and it's been a great account to just share that whole side of me on, which has been really nice. So I got pregnant for the first time in April of 2022, shortly after Mike's dad died. So Mike's dad died in March from cancer. And then literally 3 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. A month later, I found out I was miscarrying. So it was like, again, bing, bang, boom. You know what I mean? It was like down, up, down. And that was like the start of our 2-year just tough shits. Like, when are we going to get, like, throw us a bone, please? After that, we found out I had a very weird pregnancy. It was called a complete molar pregnancy. Like 1 out of 1,000 women have this, but it actually can be cancerous. I was fine and it wasn't, but I had to wait. I was not allowed to get pregnant. They're like, I mean, you could, but it's dangerous for your body, for 6 months. So I had like a freezing period where I wasn't allowed to. So they told me 6 months, you were just totally closed, like not allowed to try. Well, we could like do our thing, but just use protection. They're like,
the door was, poor Mike.
Not get pregnant. So they said maybe 6 months to even a year. And I was turning 35, like a week after I got this news. I was like, oh, I'm going to be 35. Oh my God. Because the society loves to do that and scare us. Luckily, I'm surrounded by so many incredible women who waited to have kids later in life. My mom had me at 39. My aunt had her baby at 41. One of my mom's OBGYN friends, he totally helped me mentally during this time. He's like, Megan, I've helped women over 45 into their 50s deliver babies healthier than those in their 20s. Like, it's not, you're fine. I wouldn't wait like 5 years to try if you want it now, which he knew we wanted, but just that 35 freaked me out. And I'm so glad I went through that, because my account now, my other one, has become like this account to help inspire women over 35. Like, not only can you have babies, but you might have twins, because the older you get, the more likely you are to have twins. Fun fact.
Oh God.
So just so you know.
That's like my greatest fear / I kind of want it, because then it's like a 2-for-1 deal.
Girl, I got you. I will be your twin coach. I've done it many times since. I've had 2 mastermind clients have twins. I'm like, is there something in the water in my world?
Never mind.
It's weird. So weird. So we wait 6 months.
I'm not pregnant if anybody's listening, because I know that's what's coming. Henry and I are not planning on having babies. Like, no, calm down.
Like, pause. So we like waited 6 months. We only needed to wait 6. I was very grateful for that. We got the green light at the end of 2022. So beginning of 2023, we're like, okay, around February we started and got pregnant pretty quickly. And I think it was beginning of May, because it was 3. I remember when you're trying, you just remember everything.
Of course.
It was 3 cycles. So it was beginning of May. So I was like technically pregnant in April. And I found out when I was at our relationship coach's retreat. So they were the first people that were able to find out the news, which was just so perfect. Like, they're why we have our twins, honestly. So that was really special. I drove back home to Vegas and I got to tell my dad, and my dad was in the hospital at the time. And it was such a special like moment. And it was the last in-person conversation we had, which I didn't know that would be, because he was actually getting better. So even though he was in the hospital, it was very surprising. It was like, we thought this would be years from then. So that happened. Find out I'm having twins. It was just like all over the place. But when they actually came here, all the prep that I did, hiring that agency, redoing funnels, saying, I need just a passive business. I'm going to have babies. I'm not going to have time to be on any calls. That all went out the window. It was like, and I say this because I've worked with so many moms, and I've had since in the last year and a half since they've been here, say, how do you prep? How should I prep? And I'm like, I don't want to lie to them and be like, well, you should do this, this, and this, and this. Yeah. You almost can't prep. It's so frustrating. Like, you can. My biggest piece of advice is to have launches, like stack cash if you can. If you can have some funnel bringing in something that's a little bit passive, but you're just going to change so much as a person that you're going to be like, I don't even like this shit anymore. And that's what happened to me. I was like, gotta totally redo everything now. And it sparked a lot, but honestly, it was exactly what I needed. And now a year and a half later, I'm like, thank God for them, because I had to make these changes in 2023 and I didn't. And then I did because of them. They forced me to. So,
well, I mean, you know what they say, you can tell God your plan and he's just going to laugh in your face. Exactly. And I think I can relate to you in so many ways. I think that my life, all the plans, even when my my brother died, and like all the visions that I had for myself went 100%
Yeah.
out the window. You know, you never know. You never,
Yeah.
never know. Especially when you go through a lot, like losing your father-in-law and losing your father.
It was boom, boom. And so when we found out it was twins, we were like, wow, this was our gift. You know, people ask us all the time, were you nervous? And I'm like, for maybe a split second, but we were just over the moon. We were so excited. We're like, we had to wait, you know, from the time we started to them coming, it was 2 years. And so we were just like, this was our gift. This was our gift for.
When did you find out the sex? What did
We
you think?
found
Were you
out.
hoping for girls, or were you like, no, I want boys?
I originally, if I could choose, when people ask
Yeah.
me, it's just really funny. They were like, what's your preference? I was like, well, anything, truly. But
Yeah.
a boy and a girl, we're done. We got our boy and our girl. My second choice was 2 girls. And I got 2 boys.
Really? I would have
Yeah.
pictured you as like such a boy mom.
Well, I'm like, I could never imagine not having it the way it is, which of course everyone probably feels that way. But
Right.
the second, I think the reason I said that is I think I knew deep down it was going to be boys. When we found out, I think we found out a little before 20 weeks because we took this genetic testing and everything.
Right.
And I filmed it and I broke down because we lost our dads and now we're having boys. It was just like, of course we are. Of course.
Literally, I was gonna say, I was like, and I have like goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna cry, but I think that I'm very spiritual, and I think that you know your boys are being looked after, and it almost feels like someone up there was very much like, well, you know, we're gonna give you a little support here, because you were my understanding was you were very close with your father, and your father-in-law as well, because you and Mike have been together for a long time.
Yeah, we've been together since 2012. We started dating and we got married in 2016. So it's been a minute. Yeah. And I was very close to his dad, very, very close. And he was very close to my dad. They were like poker buddies. My dad was the son he never had. He was like, he couldn't have picked a better son-in-law, honestly. They had a very special relationship. So it was so hard because like they would have been the best grandpas, like the best grandpas. Yeah, they are. You're right. They are. And we celebrate like their birthdays. We celebrate. My dad's birthday's in August and we're going to watch Harry Potter and we don't let them have.
Your dad's birthday?
August 31st.
Oh, so he's a Virgo.
He's a Virgo.
My nieces and my nephew know about Uncle Louie.
And
we celebrate his birthday and they ask, because there's pictures all over the house, my parents' house, my apartment, like they know who Uncle Louie is. Obviously they're very young to understand the severity of, the situation and what had happened. And that will cross that bridge when we get there. But I think it's important. And I think that's beautiful. They're going to grow up and know their grandpas. You know?
Father's Day. And, we're kind of double dipping. It's Mike's day, of course, too. But he's great. My birthday is literally the day before Father's Day. So I'm like, I'll have the day for myself. You can have Father's Day. It's okay. But, because I want to honor my dad and stuff. So like we have already these little like traditions we want to do with them. And we're big Yankee, or he's a big Yankee. Now I'm married into a Yankee family. So you have to be a Yankee fan. It's like, I would literally
I love it. I'm a Yankee fan.
He would divorce me if I didn't support the Yankees. He'd be like, no. So we're going to go to Yankee games for his dad's birthday for sure. So like already these little nudges to them or nods to them. When we found out it was twins, and then I remember I had an appointment and we found out what type of twins, and not fraternal or identical. They're fraternal, but there's actually 3 types of twins. I had no idea. I was like,
oh, I didn't know that. Uh-huh.
And we had what are called die twins, meaning they have their own sacs and own placentas. And it's the only type of twin that's like considered lower risk, basically. Twins are very risky in general because a lot can go on. Yeah. So I was so excited but nervous about that. And because we had all of this like just shitty stuff happen time after time after time after time, I was like, what else is going to happen? That was kind of where my mindset was. And I hated that. And then the doctor told us that. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're watching over us. And I had a very good pregnancy, like a very good pregnancy. And so I really feel that they're the healthiest babies. Like, yeah, we've been very lucky. So
beautiful. God bless. Okay, I want to talk about Mike. So did he meet you when you were when you started Beachbody, or this was before? Like what was before Megan, before Beachbody?
Yeah. No, it's fun fact. We met in high school. We went to high school together, but we weren't dating. Okay. This is like pretty funny. We met through music, really. We're both from very musical families. If our sons don't sing, like no pressure to them, but I will be so surprised. Like, how?
Mike's a singer? I don't picture Mike as a
He's
singer.
not like, he can sing. He definitely can sing. He would kill me if I told him that he couldn't. No, he definitely can sing. But his brother's a legit professional singer. That's what he does. I was a legit professional singer. My dad was a singer. My mom was a singer. His mom's a professional singer. I mean, like, they get paid. That's their job. Like,
Wow.
yeah.
That is cool.
So it's like so in depth. My Nana was a professional singer. It's so in depth on both sides. Like me, his brother, his mom, my dad, that. I'm like, if you guys don't sing, what happened? Like, what happened?
What? Wow.
Already, we joke around that Aiden, especially, he doesn't have perfect pitch, but I swear sometimes he does. And I'm like, oh my God, you're literally imitating me perfectly. This is so exciting.
Yeah, guys, Megan has a beautiful voice. I almost like want you to sing. You sang me happy birthday. She called me and sang me happy birthday. And I was in the kitchen with my mom and I pressed the voice and my mom was like, whose voice is that? That sounds like an angel.
Oh, thank you. That's my favorite thing to do for people. I love singing happy birthday for them.
So beautiful.
So we met in high school and I actually did a musical with his brother. For anyone who's in theater, we did the musical Pippin. His brother played Pippin. I played his love interest. So I actually kissed his brother in high school.
Interesting.
I was a freshman.
Drama. I love the novena.
His speech at the wedding was really funny. I was a freshman. He was a senior and he introduced me to his brother. And I just remember meeting his brother and literally in my head saying, wow, Pippin's brother is like really cute. And just like thinking that, and then basically didn't talk the rest of high school.
Sounds pretty accurate.
Pretty much didn't talk. Forgot he existed. And then like we started to kind of follow each other on Facebook and just like look at each other. He liked a couple of my pictures kind of thing. And I was just was like, oh yeah, he's cute. I came back to New York. I was living in California. I lived in California for 7 years. I went to school there, went to LA to pursue film, TV, and theater. Was home for a break and ran into him at a bar. That's like such a towny bar.
It is. I was gonna say, it was like such a towny thing.
Oh, it's such a like.
I love it. I love it.
Home from college vibes, even though I had already graduated. I was like going to be 20, I think it was 24 or 25 at the time. And I think, yeah, I was 24. And he comes right in and the Giants were just about to clinch getting into the playoffs. It was the year that we ended up winning the Super Bowl. And we were big Giants fans. And so
in here too.
Comes in, I know, that's why I love you. And he comes in and he's like, Megan Yelaney. And he bought me a shot, which now like we both like barely drink. And I'm like, I don't think I've had a shot in years. I'm like, oh my God.
I would die. Literally like just croak.
Yeah, I think I'd throw up if I tried to have a shot right now. At the time I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's still so cute. And so he Facebook messaged me and basically we talked for like a year while I was in California on and off. And then I moved home and we just started dating right away. And it was one of those, like after the first date, I was like, yeah, this is my husband. I just knew. I was like, this
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So you start dating, you're doing Beachbody. It's working. Mike is doing what? Is Mike an entrepreneur? He's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
He's working for someone.
He's an entrepreneur now. He always has been like, he's always kind of had a business, or my sister always joked that he's always been scheming. Like he just like thinks of ways to, he's a flipper. He likes to resell stuff for higher value. He's like,
love it. Genius. Yeah.
That's his brain. Yeah. He said he used to do that with baseball cards to his friends when he was like 12. I'm like, you were wild. Like, he's like, I would sell them.
Worked hard. Good for him.
I made money at 12 years old off my friends. It was great. They were suckers. I'm like, oh my God. This is so funny. So he's always been an entrepreneur.
You still have those baseball cards though?
I'm like, I'm probably not. So he was in insurance and he was commuting to the city from Long Island, which is like a beast. And quickly, like we just realized he wanted to go all in on his ticket business, that he buys and resells tickets. And so Beachbody was thriving. And I'm like, we're way more than comfortable. Like quit this job, go all in on your business. And he did. So we became full entrepreneurs together in 2016. That's when we got married. He basically quit right before we got married. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay. So both entrepreneurs, it's just tough. Really, really tough. And especially, so you just got married, you're both entrepreneurs. Fast forward, you start pivoting the business. He's obviously still very much like next to you. He's doing his ticketing business. I know there was one point where you guys ended up hiring him for a little bit and working together.
Yes.
But yeah. So talk me through, and like, yeah, you didn't like actually retire him because he likes to work. And if he's an entrepreneur and he's always been an entrepreneur, like there's no way he's going to stop working.
No, I'll kind of give you the Cliff Notes, like timeline. Basically in 2016, he quit his job to run his business and it was going really well. And then in 2020, we ended up separating for 6 months. And this was before COVID. It was January 2020, not knowing what was about to
What was about
happen.
to come.
I was like,
I
we
remember
chose the
this.
year of all years.
I remember this. I remember
Yeah.
I reached out to you. I forgot what I reached out to you, and you had mentioned that you and him were like a little bit going through a rough time right
Yeah.
now.
It was 2019 was the year that my business like boomed, 2018 and 2019. And it was also simultaneously the year my marriage was like really going downhill. And I always like to tell people the business isn't why. We had our shit. We had our shit before we got married. It's just business brings everything to the forefront. It's like, you're going to deal with it now, whether you want to or not. And
okay, so I just want to say thank you so much for being here and listening to this podcast. I want to let you know about my free masterclass, the Authority Accelerator Masterclass. You cannot miss it. In 60 minutes, I'm going to teach you my 90-day strategy called the Simplify to Amplify Framework, where I teach you how to create your signature offer, build a brand, and start generating monthly recurring revenue. I'm going to teach you my sales automation system that I use with AI and how I've built a multi-six-figure business from this exact framework. You're going to get all the cheat codes. So you do not want to miss it. Go ahead and head to the show notes where you can grab the link to register and save your seat. And I'll see you there.
we both escaped into our businesses. We were like, okay, we're failing at this. So we're feeling really good in this other area. Let's just keep going and let's just drink on the weekends and forget about it.
Yeah.
So
Like roommates.
100%. That's what we did. We hustled our asses off. We made a lot of money. We spent a lot of it on alcohol and food and travel. Oh my gosh.
That's why I can't drink anymore.
The amount of, I'm like, it kills me when I think about how much money we spent on fancy cocktails, which I love a good fancy cocktail. Don't get me wrong, but
but like one. But like back in the day, yeah, I get it. Don't worry about it.
Kills me. Anyway, so we stimulated the economy, I guess. So we did that for a long time. And then we just got to a place where we're like, we need help. Hired our first relationship coach, who's actually huge on Instagram now. Jillian Turecki. She has like 3 million followers, a best-selling book. Yeah, she's amazing. She saved our marriage. Like we went through so much with her. She helped us separate. She actually encouraged us to separate because we needed to work on ourselves before coming back together. And we were in a very different situation though. She says, I don't normally recommend people separate because usually they don't get back together if they separate. Yeah. It's very rare. We're very much like beat the statistics with like so many things in our lives. It's like most people don't have twins. Most people don't separate and come back together. Most people don't have the molar pregnancy, like all these weird things that have happened. It's very interesting. So when we got back together, I was like, okay, something's got to give with my business because it didn't cause the separation, but it did not help the separation.
Right.
I was working all day long. But not only that, when I was done, I was so tired and drained that I was like numb out with some wine and TV and go to sleep. And that was every single day. Yeah. So I knew we were now a priority. And so basically 2021 was like the rebuild us year. And that's when I got rid of a ton of stuff. I got rid of a ton of income. I restructured. That was like my first big remodel in my business.
And I can totally relate to that. I think I was single for a really long time before I met Henry. Henry and I have been together for a year and a half now. Especially during 2020 when business was booming, there was definitely a pattern that I was alone, very much single, obviously. And there was a huge pattern of me like working all day and then at night, like soothing with a glass of wine and going to sleep. And I very much saw that pattern and then quickly was like, I don't want this. I also don't want this in a partner because this is kind of boring, right? This is going to get boring really fast. Yeah. And I definitely stopped drinking as much. Also, I struggle with mental health and I know that alcohol makes it worse. So we were in 2020, we're in complete lockdown. In my head, I was like, this could get really ugly for you, Jen. You better chill. So I'm grateful that I am consciously aware of that.
Yeah.
But even like now, one of the biggest things that, me and Henry definitely battle with, Henry has a 9-to-5, he's a math teacher and I work for myself. And you know that there are seasons where you have to hustle. I'm not saying I'm at computer all day, but there are times and places like right now where we totally are. It's definitely puts a strain on the relationship, or it can. And that's one of the things that I'm very nervous about because he isn't an entrepreneur, right? He gets it and he's super supportive. But then also the other side is that when you have somebody who's an entrepreneur as well, and you're both on the computer, like when do you find time? Because at the end of the day, I'm exhausted. Yeah. Like I don't want to talk. I don't even want to watch TV. Like I don't watch TV in general. So like for me, it's very much like I have dinner, I'll go to sleep and like I'll wake up early and start the day, It sounds very boring. But like, what was that come to Jesus moment that you guys had to have? Because there had to have been something that both brought it to the surface that you guys were like, oh, this is a problem.
Yeah, for sure. It was the end of 2019. I think it was like after I can remember, we went to Italy for my mastermind that I was in. And I went first for the mastermind retreat, or we went together. We separated when I went with the mastermind girls. Then I went back with him. So we had an Italy vacation where I was like, come with me, let's go do this. And it wasn't a good vacation. Like, we were so disconnected and there was just so much. I was like, I do not want to have kids in this state. And that's where we were headed. I was like, I'm ready.
How long have you guys been together at this point?
I think this was 2020. So 8 years dating.
Wow. And 4 years married, or 5 years?
Yeah. For 6 years. Wait, 2016, 4 years married. Math. Yeah. 8 years dating, 4 years married. Yeah. Cause we were dating for 4 years before we got married. That also was what was like kind of frustrating to me. I'm like, this is supposed to be our honeymoon period. And the first 4 years of our marriage were the hardest. And I'm like, what's happening? We haven't had the honeymoon. Like, what's going on? Yeah. Like, our honeymoon period was like 2021 to 2024, even though we had a lot of shit happen. Like, we were so strong as a couple. Yeah. Like, that vacation just did it. And I came back from that vacation in September, end of September, going, I think we need to separate. I didn't end up doing it until the beginning of January, but like, I knew that the reason is I put a lot of pressure on him he had a lot of shit from childhood come up during our relationship coaching. He'd never gone to therapy. So it was like open Pandora's box for him. Yeah. And I was like, heal your trauma faster. You need to figure your shit out, you know? Yeah. Not literally, but that was the energy. And he needed he needed the separation more than I did. Like, he needed the time. And so without that pressure, like, he did the work. Our coach was with him and he was like, I'm so grateful because I've had friends have divorces or have stayed in shitty relationships and they don't have a partner who's willing to do the work. Mike was 110% in. I am so
never resistant to it. He was very much against to it.
Like, I'm so lucky that I have a partner like that because we wouldn't be together if it takes two to tango, you know, and he gets to model that. Like, that's another reason I'm so glad I had boys is we need good men in this world. Yeah. And we're going to raise great men because he's such a great example of a really good man. So I have to have him listen to this. He's going to be like, oh, thanks, honey.
Oh, you should. Oh, I'm looking forward to meeting him. We definitely,
we have to.
What was yours? When you walked away, what was like your big, oh my God, like when you were alone behind the scenes?
Yeah. Like, what was the moment that made me realize, or what was like my reaction?
Yeah. What was the moment that when you guys separated, that you were by yourself for some time? What was the moment that you realized, wow, I need Mike. Like, this isn't.
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever been really asked this, but you know, right when it happened, I was so relieved and he was so relieved. He had these chronic stomach issues that went away overnight, pretty much. Really? And we're like, oh, it was stress. That's what it was. It wasn't gluten. It wasn't dairy. It was stress. And so I was immediately relieved. And we were just like, when we like said we're going to separate, the next 2 nights we spent together were some of the best we had in years. And I was like, this is so weird. And like, I cried saying bye to him. And I was like, I don't want to say bye to you. Like, this feels weird. I love you, but I know we need to do this, but we feel closer than ever. It was such a strange thing, but I had to trust that like, we need this. And so it was really hard for a few weeks. It was relief. And then it was really hard. And I really missed him. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need him back in my life. And then it was 3 months later, I was doing a show in Florida in Naples at a theater and he came to see it. And this was right when everything started shutting down, was right at the end of the show. So in 2020, and he came to the show and that reunion was like, okay, we're going to make it. Like, we're good.
Seen each other for 3 months.
We hadn't seen each other for 3 months and we hadn't talked much. Like, we really tried to not have communication as much as possible. I struggled a lot with that. Like, I reached out to him a couple times and I was just like, I would be on a client call, hop off, hysterically cry, hop on a client call, hop off, hysterically cry. Like, no one knew. It was all behind the scenes. I didn't share this. I didn't share it for 1.5 years on social. Like, no one knew. I mean, I'm sure people had sensed something, but no one like knew outright. And that was really hard to like, I felt I'm an authentic brand. And that's when I realized like authenticity doesn't mean you share everything. It means that for me, I like to process. I like to share after it's happened, you know, so I can share some kind of takeaway. So that was like our reunion. I was like, yeah, he's different. Like, I could see the change in him. And me too. I mean, I had to make changes too, but he had just like a lot of shit he had to work through and he definitely did the work. And so it was like, okay, we're going to start dating again. And then COVID happened and we're like, okay, well, we can't date right now.
We just escalated everything.
So we stayed separated for a few more months. He lived with his Nana. I lived with my mom. And then we got an apartment pretty much sight unseen, just online during COVID, June of 2020.
Wow.
2020. And moved in, and that's when we started our relationship again. So yeah, it was wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now you beautifully married. How many years now?
Since 2016. So it'll be 10 years soon. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
10 years. Two beautiful boys. It sounds like he's very much like he respects what you do. He's always respected.
Oh yeah.
But he's very much like, I'm with it. I'm here. And he runs his own business now, but he's not doing the same thing.
He's actually doing his ticket business. He did shut it down, or it got shut down during COVID because there were no events. He was like, okay, this is crazy, but it was a blessing because
I'm going to hit him up next time I need tickets.
Yes. No, please do. He's the guy. He's the ticket guy. We always have people like, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? Yeah.
He just sports, or he does concerts, the whole thing?
He does everything. He's really into Broadway right now, but Broadway shows, but he does everything. And a lot of sports stuff. Gosh, he started in 2020. It basically just dissolved. It had to, but it was a blessing because during that build up in 2018 and 2019, when we both went all in on our businesses, his was expanding so much. But the thing with the ticket business is you have to put money back into it. So he just got kind of addicted to that and to blowing it up to where it got too big for him and just made some really bad investments and wrong decisions, like we all do. Like I as well. And it needed to get shut down. It was like a train that was out of control, needs to get off the tracks kind of thing.
It was kind of like a blessing in disguise.
It was totally. And so when he restarted it last year, when I was basically like, I don't know if I want my business anymore. I think I might just want to be a mom. You need to start yours. He came at it from such a different place. And it was so much better. So he's been doing that again for a year, but there were a few years where he didn't work actually. And he ran our home. He takes care of our dog. We have homes in Vegas. So he manages all of that. And he ran our life. I literally just showed up to my calls and content, and that's it. That's all I did. I didn't do anything else, which is it was great. Such a team. And now we share a lot of that because there's certain things like seasons. There's seasons that I'm busier. And so he'll do more house stuff with the boys. There's certain things I take the lead on with the boys and he takes the lead on with them. It just depends. But the communication is just really clear. And he's so supportive and definitely my sounding board and my cheerleader. But I think one thing our coaches helped us a lot with is he's not my business coach. He's not my therapist. He's my husband. And I think that's something we had to also realize is that's our role. And we can't expect them to be everything to us. Yeah. That was a big shift for us too.
Wow. So beautiful. I'm so happy you shared this with me.
Thank you. Let me tell you, having kids rocks your relationship in
I'm sure.
such a big way.
Yeah.
And I understand why so many people end up getting divorced or have really tough times. Because if you don't have a solid foundation when you have kids, it's just so hard.
I just want to say thank you so much for being here and listening to the Do Good Legacy podcast. This is especially sponsored by my friends at Go High Level. Go High Level is an all-in-one marketing and CRM platform, actually built for entrepreneurs like us. Vision-driven, time-starved, and ready to scale systems that don't actually break under pressure. If you're a coach, a consultant, or an agency owner, Go High Level is for you, my friend. I absolutely promise. So you can ditch the duct taping tools and simplify your back end and finally run a business like a CEO. If you've got any personal questions, go ahead over on Instagram and DM me GHL, and I will personally answer all your questions. If you're ready to get started, go ahead and head to the show notes where you have a link to join for 30 days for free. Okay, now let's get back to it.
We had a tough first year and we had such solid relationship. So I'm so grateful we established that before we had kids.
I love that. And especially now that you run your business and you're doing all the things. My very last question that I wrote down at the very beginning, and I was like, this is such a solid, and I feel like we've transitioned in such a good way. Actually, let me rewind here. You've walked us through your life. You were in theater, you were in California, you moved back to New York, you met Mike, you were doing Beachbody. It was doing really great. You and him were working like a powerhouse, went through a little bit of a difficulty. Business was still doing great. Then we had 2020 hit, and that's when things came to a halt, and you were like, okay, what do we need to reassess? Or in 23, I should say. And you realigned the business. You had a miscarriage. Mm-hmm. Then you had your boys. Oh no, you had your boys at 23. You had a miscarriage at 22. But now here you are. You have your business is doing amazing. I'm watching you and I'm just rooting for you. I've even asked you for advice because you're just awesome and you've been so helpful. What was the pivotal moment for you to realize your distinctive edge?
Oh, I love this question. It's so meta. I love this. Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, this is all me. Chat Daddy did not help me with any of this. This is all me stalking you. I love interviewing people. Like, it's just fun for me. And
I love it. It's been so fun too, because so much of how I show up in business is because of my experience in my life. So all of what we just talked about so informs. I mean, I shape my business for my family now, and just for myself too. So in 2024, when they were born, I basically was like, everything I planned feels unaligned. It just doesn't feel it. Yeah. And I think I realized when I came back to work after a couple months, one, I needed more time. I needed way more time off. I don't know why I thought I only needed a couple months, especially with 2. But when I came back, I was selling and marketing things that I wasn't excited about. And I was like, this, again, I was a basic business coach. I sounded like everyone else. And I'm like, I used to get hired for helping people be different and unique and put that into their marketing. That's what people hired me for. Look what you're doing. Like, what are you doing? This is so opposite of what you do. And so I basically took extra time off to go, I need to do some soul searching and figure out what I want. And so I almost feel like I took off all the whole year, honestly. And during that time off, I started to go through the process that I do with clients now. I connected back to, okay, what is my expertise? What am I really great at? What is my story now in this new season of life? And how does that impact other people? What's the process I take people through? Like, what are the exact steps? And I just did all of this, like, really hard work, honestly. When I have clients go through this, I don't usually like to tell them this ahead of time, but I also want to be honest. It's very, very disarming in many ways, because I'm asking them questions that like a typical business program doesn't. And it's digging deep, and it's like very uncomfortable for a lot of people.
Well, because also you probably have to start all over again, right? That's the biggest like pushback I get from my clients. They're like, but I've done all this research. I'm like, no, you haven't.
It's exactly. And I had to humble myself and go, no, you need to do this shit. It's not, what you're doing isn't working. You hate it. Like, we need to go back. And so I finally realized, like, you're not a coach who just helps people with launches or just helps people scale. Like, you help them find this differentiation about them and make it super marketable in a way that, like, you think of this word, you think of Jen, you think of this word, you think of Megan, and that's what I did with my clients. That's what the work I love. But I got so blinded by, I have to be so good at everything. I have to be the best at everything. I have to market that. And all of a sudden my message got so muddled. And so I came back to like, this is what I'm known for. This is it. And I'm going to go all in this. It took like 10, 11 months to get that breakthrough after postpartum. So when I tell you guys, like, you have to be patient and you have to like do the damn work. It's not sexy. It was so hard. And there was a moment where I was like, I don't know if I am cut out for this anymore. I think maybe I just want to be a mom. And I loved my boys. I was like in that newborn obsession phase. So, but that's really how I came back to it. And I'm like, that's my distinctive edge. It's very meta. It's helping other people find theirs. And so I realized that's what I need to go all in on. And I sold 2 rounds behind the scenes, just had our first launch. And it's just been really well received. It's been going super well. And I just feel like I'm more in alignment with my business now than honestly I've been since before 2020. Like, I was not faking it till I made it, but I felt like that for a few years, which I know you can understand.
Totally. And I can relate to in so many ways. But, oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. Okay. Our very last question. What is the future for Megan? What does it look like? Like, what is the goal for this year?
I love this question. I haven't had let myself really think of big visioning in a few years. And it wasn't until very recently that I actually started to ask myself that question, because I was just rolling with it day by day.
Yeah.
We were just kind of talking about this beforehand, but I really see me taking this new brand, this new program, and making this my staple and really scaling this every single round, keeping scaling it. But I want to be known for this. I want to speak on stages for this. I'm redoing our podcast. I want to speak on other podcasts like yours for this. I want to get this word out and really have this be known, because I know how impactful this work is. And so I see us stepping into more of the speaking events kind of stage and being more of a thought leader I used to be, but in a more evolved way. That's kind of what I see. Yeah.
Why?
Simple, very simple.
Yeah. Clean and simple. That's what I've built my business model. And I love it when I reframed everything. But why? What's at the core? Why? Why does it matter?
Now, honestly, the reason now is my boys. And I know that's such a typical answer for a mom, but when I think about, I get to be with them so much. I have a couple really good girlfriends who had babies around the same time who have 9-to-5 jobs. and their kids are in daycare, and there's nothing wrong with that. You got to do what you got to do. I have a babysitter come 12 hours a week. Mike and I rotate helping them. So I'm not with them every second, but I'm with them a lot. And I want it to be that way. And so that's my why. My why is I want to keep this. I want to keep being there for all those special moments and make an income that supports our Long Island lifestyle, which is not cheap. Let me tell you.
Definitely not cheap.
It's like, I want to be able to support us and us not have to worry like at all about any of this stuff, because twins are not cheap. Kids are not cheap. And I don't want to have to think about that stuff. That's why I started my business. It's not for the fancy stuff. It's for those moments of like, don't even need to think about it. So that's really the why. And for them to see their mom kind of be a badass. Like my mom was there and she's a badass. Like, look what she's doing. Like hard work, tenacity, like leaving that legacy for sure now.
I love it. Okay. This is the very last question. What is your legacy? What is your message that you want to leave people listening to this? We've now heard your amazing, phenomenal story and everything that you've been through. What is the thing that if somebody were listening at this point in your life, the Megan that was 2 or 3 years ago, who needs to hear that? What is the message that you want to leave for her?
When I think about this, I actually put it on my new website, and it's simple, but it's kind of corny, is like, you don't have to hide who you are to get paid well for what you do. If I can think of anything that I've really taken away in the last few years, helping other people build businesses, my own self, when I got away from who I was truly and tried to like present this certain persona, my income went down. When I stepped into it and owned these pieces of me, shared my story, and really, really got confident in like, this is it, and didn't hide those quirky parts of me, that's when things boomed again. So that's really it. Like, you do not have to be a certain way or look a certain way or act a certain way to have success.
I agree with that. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And I love this. I love you. I can't wait to see you soon.
I know. I'm so excited. Yay. Thank you for having me be the first. I feel so lucky. Honored.
This was awesome.
If you went ahead and loved this episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next week.